Alright, hello, welcome to Tile Coach. I'm Isaac Ostrom. Today I'm excited to be putting in an RSS Pro Series foam pan with a Schluter-Kerdi linear drain. This already has the cutout to perfectly match this Kerdi line bonding flange. There's a couple steps that we needed to do before this. We did need to get the pipe cut to the right height, our P-trap, and one of the things that makes these Kerdi lines a little cumbersome is this no-hub coupler that goes on the stainless steel channel body here. So what we did is we actually had to cut the hole a little bit bigger just to fit. We cut this hole a little bit bigger so that it fit the whole no-hub coupling in there, so that when we put the pan down it goes in. One thing that I like about this setup is that it's all connected. Everything is made out of one solid piece of foam. This is extruded polystyrene, XPS is what they call it, but it is closed cell. So it's completely waterproof all the way throughout. Even if there was a puncture, it won't go through the foam. It's completely closed cell. What's on the face of this Pro Series here is a reinforced cementitious waterproof coating. This is awesome. I'm really excited to do this. It's all custom. We made it to fit the size of this pan. There's no cutting, there's no figuring. It's already just a thin set down, get the drain in, and we'll be ready to go. So let's get started. What I have here is just modified thin set mortar, and I'm using a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch notch. This is what I'm going to use to install the foam pan. I'm going to go ahead and give this a back butter. You see the waterproof coating is on the underside of the pan as well. Doing a skim coat on the back will help this pan get a good bond to the floor. Okay, got a good back butter on the foam pan here. I got the pan in. I made sure that I was level, making sure that I didn't build up too much thin set somewhere. The pan looks great. So pan is level. This pan is probably going to be really hard to take up when the day comes, because this sucker is solid and it is down in a solid bed of modified thin set. Okay, so now that I got the pan in, it's time to put the Schluter-Kerdi line in, and we already have our drain pipe stubbed up to the correct height. So I want the top of my 2-inch waste pipe 2 inches below the top of the subfloor. So that's where we have cut it. I'm going to tighten the top. Oh, it's already tightened, huh? So I'm going to tighten the top nut of the Kerdi line, and the bottom one is going to be loose because it needs to slip down over the waste pipe. And what we're going to do, we have a little access door from below. We're going to be able to tighten this bottom nut from below. So the top nut you have to tighten before the drain goes in, because you can't get to that nut because it's sitting above the subfloor. But this one we're going to leave loose, and we're going to slip it right down in. So yeah, the top of our waste pipe is 2 inches below the top of the subfloor. That's going to give us the correct distance for this to slip down and over. Before I do that, I'm going to put thinset. I'm going to embed thinset in the channel so that this channel body is securely embedded in thinset mortar. And I'm also going to put a bead of sealant on the routed out portion of the foam to give it a good seal on the perimeter. This is the RSS sealant. It's a very high quality silane based sealant. It cures in the presence of moisture. It is not polyurethane. I do not recommend using polyurethane sealant for these applications. The silane based sealant is much better lifespan. So I got a good bead of the RSS sealant. Okay, Kirk, you want to give it a little push over? Oh, there you are. Yep, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and slip the coupler right over the waste pipe here. There it goes. I'm going to embed that guy down in there, just like that. So now that we got the drain body installed, now we're going to put the walls up.
An hour? And then after,
too easy.
Oh, you still feel
good? No, yeah. It's a good reaction.
Yep. Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome. And then after you do more, you can probably knock it down like a half hour, huh?
Yep. Start getting the walls up. Yeah, I know.
That's going to save so much time on the whole job.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, so the next thing is putting the, and that was Pat with Foley Quality Construction. Pat's general contractor we work with. They're awesome. They do a great job. We love working for them. So
thank you. It's mutual.
Yeah. So he's kind of blown away by this system.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We don't want to show him how to do it because then he won't use us anymore. It'll be too easy.
That's not going to happen. We're not going to be the trial setters you guys are.
Oh shoot. Okay, awesome. Okay, so the way this wallboard works is it fits into these, there's rabbeted channels. So the board is actually going to fit into the notches that are in the pan. So what you do is you fill up the notch first before you put the wallboard down into it. So I'm going to take our sealant and I'm going to give us a good bead. And one thing you need to keep in mind when you do these systems with the Pro Series, you need to make sure that you are tight against the walls. And we use these furring strips to make sure. You can see here, if you come and look in the notch, we're up tight to the furring strips. You don't want any gaps between your studs and the notch of the pan, because we have really tight tolerances. Any more than an 1/8 can cause an issue. So you want to make sure your walls are ready to go. You can see on this back side here too, we're tight up against the bottom plate. So yeah, so you can see we don't have hardly any gap, maybe a 32nd. You want this gap to be really tight up against the studs. So now I'm going to take the RSS sealant and give a really nice heavy bead in here. Don't be afraid to use too much, it'll just goop out and you can screed it off. And you can see how thick the tip we cut off. We want a big fat bead on there. So now that I have the channel filled and my board pre-cut, I'm going to go ahead and slip it right in. That's going to push down right into that rabbet joint. Make sure that that's secured well. Just all the way down. Yeah, make sure that that board gets down into that rabbet joint. And that's nice and solid. I'm going to just use a couple. So the Pro Series uses a washer and screw setup. forgot that part. Okay. Then you do the same thing when you're joining the panels. Another good bead of sealant. The reason this is open, we don't have our tile layout quite yet, so we leave the opening big, and we can frame our niche opening to give us a nice full tile, or at least some good cuts. Good squish there. We got these wipes too, these crocodile wipes. They work really good for wiping the sealant off. This sealant is really sticky and it'll get all over your hands. But we found these at Home Depot, right, Zach?
Yeah.
Yeah. You cut that side, yeah. Kirk's all to be quiet. That's awesome. Perfect. All right, so I'll continue screwing this off and we can jump on the other walls. We're gonna do the same thing here up against the wall with the line drain. Put a really good bead. What's nice about this is like double waterproofing, right? The sealant and the board is creating a seal, and then we're going to be using thin set and sheet membrane over it. And this being an upstairs living space below, you know how I like to go overboard on stuff. So I like this belt and suspenders approach that we're doing here. Nice, good, thick bead. Board.
Doing the wall too? Are you going to do the wall?
Oh, yeah. Good job, Kurt. I'm also going to go ahead and seal up this here. Good bead on the wall. Let's get this guy in. This is a little tricky with the line drain because the flap is a little bit in the way, but make sure you pull the Curdy flap out of the way. Checking that board's all the way down in that groove. And if we just do this. And now that this board is locked down into that rabbet really nice right there, filled with sealant. So once this is done, we're going to fold the flap up and create that double layer of waterproofing here. Okay. same principle applies to the curb. This is a 3x3 curb. I like a lower profile, narrower curb than the big, the big old 6-inch tall curbs. We have the rabbet cutout in the curb to fit in the notch here in the pan. The nice thing about these curbs is they're actually reinforced on the top. They have this reinforcement layer that makes it really firm, and to drill a shower door in or something. But it's really nice to have that strength on the top of the curb because you're working on it and everything. I really like how they put that reinforcement layer on the top. It's a thick composite material in there. So I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to be just sealing it right to the floor. And then also in the notch here, giving myself a really nice bead. And I'm going to seal up at the wall as well. Get that wall connection in there. Curb is going to fit right into the groove. Try not to get sealant on the carpet here. Carpet in bathrooms. And that's that. So all the components, yep, got a nice level on our curb. So all of our components are in. Let's see, I want to show the gap here. So you can see how tight we got all of our gap along the edge. Everything looks really tight. You don't want anything bigger than an 1/8 inch. Everything is sealed up really nice here. And our curb notch nice and tight. So the next step is going to be to put a bead over all of our existing joints. So I'm just going to take put a bead down in here also. Again, that double waterproofing, really like that idea. So RSS usually includes these plastic tools. There's a few of them in each one. This is a corner tool and then a flat tool. So corner tool, get in. And what I do is I just use the extra for the screw penetrations. We have our 8+9 mixed up. So the 8+9 is 2 parts. It's the 8 and the 9. It's a acrylic liquid of some sort. with a reactive cement powder. So when the two combine, it creates a chemical reaction and it cures that way. It's a chemical cure. So if you put it between two impervious surfaces, it will cure without the presence of air. That's the thing I worry about with some of the sealants. So if I would have just taken Hydroban or Red Guard and put it under these flaps, they would never cure, because it's like putting the lid back on the bucket of your Red Guard or the cap back on your sealant. So the A+9 I know is going to get a waterproof hard chemical cure with this line drain. So I have 2-inch overlap everywhere with the Curdy flaps, so I have a good consistency mixed up. It's trowelable, but it's still loose enough. This A+9 goes off really fast, so you have to watch your working time. I'm going to start with the easy part. I'm going to start with this flap right here. So I have the small tooth Curdy trowel. I think this is an 8 by 8. I'm just going to get a good trowel on it. Actually, I have to do the side too at the same time. Of course, I used my clean margin trowel and I didn't need to. It's going to be kind of generous in this area here and kind of pack that down in there. I want full coverage of this here. So yesterday we started on this. I got here probably about 9 o'clock and we were done by 11:30 or so. Then we broke for lunch, so we had about 2.5 hours yesterday. This morning we started cutting the niche probably about 8 o'clock. I got here a little bit before 8, and let's see, what time is it? It's 9:12, so we got probably about an hour and a half today to do this. So what's that? We maybe 2.5 and 1.5, about 4 hours total to take this from studs, no drain in, to putting the pan in, already pre-sloped, completely 100% waterproof, a 4-hour shower prep. That's pretty amazing. And at the drain we have it double waterproofed. It's already been waterproofed with sealant. The board and pan connections was already sealed. The drain was put down with sealant. And I just went above and beyond using the Ardex 8+9 to put the Curdy line flap in. So if you've done the Schluter Curdy like I was doing the flap here, even doing this little flap, there was little wrinkles and folds that come up, and it's hard for a professional like myself that does it all the time. It's even harder for a do-it-yourselfer to make these connections with sheet membrane perfectly. So that's why I think systems like these, where it's simply using a silane based sealant on board and pan that's already sloped and waterproofed, I think you will have a lot more chance at a successful leak-free shower that will last as long as you want it to last. So I'm glad you are here with me. I hope that you learned something, and I love you. I love being your tile coach, and we'll see you on the next video.